Good evening all. So we have come back with a new topic about the role of the intellectual, or maybe the nearest word to it is a philosopher or a social activist. So what is the role of intellectuals in our society, and how they can make change in our society, and how they can create a much better society? So let's start talking about the role of intellectuals in our society. So who is the intellectual? The intellectual or the social activist is someone with a great knowledge about history, culture, philosophy, civilizations, and other kind of sciences that has helped him to gain some amount of knowledge that can be seen much more significant than others. And eventually he end up promoting a range of ideas that he sees them as a solution for the current problems that are facing the society. And most of intellectuals end up being activists for a particular project that they strongly support, and they try to implement this project using different means of politics, if there was a chance in politics, or using different means in economy, or if there is a chance in economy, or it could be through companies or through cooperation with companies. And we can see some examples, I think, with some of libraries, and some of examples with some of social corporate responsibility and so on. And so the companies, they use it as a marketing tool, and the intellectual use it as a way to promote his social project or social agenda. And we can also see it as an intellectual doing it through education, which can be direct education, and we can see it that he's doing it through an artist. And an artist, this is the general form of art, that he's actually trying to beautify his thoughts that in many cases represent some of the most difficult problems in our society, that the society does not look forward to change because it become part of who this society is. So this is actually the intellectual, and he is somehow different than the scientist, as the scientists sometimes become interested in a particular problems that are not as that is not much in an interest of the whole society as much of it as of a particular scientific group or of a particular group. And he is different than the activist, as sometimes he's not very much active in the political scene, that he's not trying to work within the current political structure to push his project, and sometimes he is, but in general cases he is looking for the betterment of the whole society rather than the advancement of a particular political group. And some political group have strong ideologies, and some of them you can't actually differentiate between you can't actually differentiate between two parties, because they look in terms of ideas very similar, and they have very differences. So the choice will be based on individuals rather than groups or a group of people. So this is the role of intellectual. The challenge we face is that some intellectuals end up being lonely, or they don't have a huge audience. And I do think that the best medium for intellectuals to spread their thoughts and to spread their contribution around the society is still the university, is still some kind of academic institution where they actually can teach generations after generations, generation after generation, or any form of academic institution that help you to teach one generation after another, one generation after another, one generation after another, and you can promote your thought with that. And some of these generation, some of them they will become businessmen, some of them they will become leaders, some of them they will become social advocates, and so on. So I do still think that universities are still the best place for intellectuals. Even sometimes it might make them so distant from the society, and this is actually can become a problem if the intellectuals of the society becomes very distant from the normal citizen or the regular citizen. So be in a university or an academic institution or some form of social change catalyst, or at least educational catalyst, and uh, on the same time you can try to promote your thoughts directly to society, and hopefully it works, but we don't know how would that happen. So that was my talk for today. I wish the intellectuals all the best, that because of their great intellectual work and great thought about different problems that are facing our society and different issues and different way of thinking and different framework, they are trying to advance human beings across the globe. And hopefully we have a lot of positive thoughts that can create a greater earth, a greater global civilization, rather than what we have seen recently of the very negative thoughts in terms of isolation and nationalism. Not being against any form of thought, but I am looking forward for more global intellectuals who can address different issues. And we always would say, this is Mrs. Nibal Al-Awadi, one of the great artists, great actors that I have met. I wish you a great evening. And that's it. See you tomorrow.